And then you have this whole notion of, well, it's nice that you have the time. I don't have the time. And you personally live a very
Mhm.
busy life. You're doing so many things. You have two children. You're doing like, how do you find balance and time to do these things? And what do you tell those people that simply say, I can't find the time to do these things you're
Mhm.
talking of? That's why I'm, putting on the weight and doing this. I'm doing my best.
You know what? I think we all have things in our lives that we prioritize, right? Like I
Yeah.
just make it a priority. It's not even an option for me. Like you got to figure out, people need to figure out in their lives certain non-negotiables that they stick to.
Mm,
Because to me, working out every morning is a non-negotiable. I won't go into a meeting unless I do that because number one, I go into my meeting with a clearer head, more focus, more energy. I show up better, and I only know that because I've been doing this for so long, where it's become such a habit of mine. But what
mhm,
happens is people give up before they even start, before they even feel the results, before they even see to notice the difference. So the first thing I tell people is don't give up. Like even when you don't feel like it, like I said earlier, you do it anyway. And eventually, slowly but surely, you kind of end up missing it or see how it's actually improved your life on the other end. Energy begets energy, right? For me, exercise is much more of a cognitive thing. Like to me now, it's much more about a cognitive thing. Like it gives me like I said, focus. It gives me much more alertness. So that to me is like a non-negotiable. And
mhm.
when people don't have time, well, we have time to blow dry our hair and take a shower and brush our teeth. These are just things that are like basic fundamental things we need to do, right? So is so is exercising. So
Yeah.
is sometimes breath work and to get your nervous system back in check. It like people are looking like people have to reframe how they are looking at their overall health. Because again, health is wealth. Without that, you have nothing. With it, everything else is better. You're like everything else, not only better, you do everything better,
Yeah.
right? Like and it's a mindset shift. And
Yeah.
so these things are not, like I said, even time consuming. Like I'm a big believer in there. People think that if they work out, let's say they need like an hour to exercise, right? The truth is, if you can move your body 15 minutes 3 times a day, it's actually more beneficial than doing 1 hour of exercise. Because if you're doing this
Mm.
1 hour of exercise, you're moving around and then you're sedentary the rest of the 23 hours. That's better than zero, but it's still not great. But if you're moving your body 3 times a day for 15, 10 minutes, whatever you can, you're like moving your body, your circulation, everything is like getting itself going again. That's actually better. Also, most times are we say to ourselves, "Oh, we don't have the thing. I don't want to do it." We think of all the things. But if you just say, "You know what? I'm just going to do 5 minutes."
Mhm.
That first 5 minutes is usually the hardest. Putting your shoes on, getting dressed, and actually going down. So if you trick your brain and be like, "I'm just only going to do 5 minutes," once you're doing it, that 5 minutes typically turns into 10,
Yeah.
15, 20, right? Like that's the hardest part. The other thing are these other habits, right? Like the for stress, like the breath work, the meditation, whatever it is. Like I said to people, pick a couple and implement those. And then once you're doing that, you're off to a good start. Let's move on to something else. But like I said, it's baby steps. And what I tell people is like, don't let your brain stop you because you end up fighting with yourself. You justify why you don't need it, but you don't give it a chance to actually, I guess, settle in and you miss it. Like
Yeah.
there's like a gap between there.
Your brain is often your worst enemy, right? It's like, hey, just put on Netflix for a few minutes and like it'll be fine. Next thing you know, you've been watched like a whole day worth and you're telling me you're out of time, right? So
Mm-hmm.
of course it's that, but I feel like what you're saying makes sense. Just trick it the other way. Be like, hey, brain, like 5 minutes of this breath work. That's all we need to get started. Then you could keep doing what you're doing and then you go from there. You see
Two
those five
minutes.
minutes,
Two
right?
minutes for breath
One
work. You don't even
1
need
minute,
that
3
much.
deep breaths, right? Already changes from sympathetic to parasympathetic state,
Mm-hmm.
calms you down, blood pressure goes down, the cascade of events goes from there. That's it, just 3 breaths, right? When we
Mhm.
all breathe so shallow and we're all stressed all day, which is horrible for
Absolutely.
us.
Very.